So President Trump's efforts to quell coronavirus fears during his Oval Office speech last night did little to ease concerns on Wall Street as stock futures pointed to yet another low open this morning. The Dow futures dropped more than 1,100 points, while the S&P and NASDAQ also pointed to lower openings. Markets reacted poorly as investors were hoping for a stronger fiscal response from the president than just his new European travel ban and his plan for financial relief for ill workers. And after an 11-year run on a bull market, the Dow plunged yesterday into a bear market after reporting losses of over 1,400 points. The S&P and the NASDAQ also reported losses. Joining us now, CNBC's Courtney Reagan live from the NASDAQ with more. Courtney.
Hi, good morning, Mika. That's right. So now we are officially in bear market territory. That means that the major market indices have fallen more than 20% from their recent 52-week highs. By the way, that was just about 19 trading sessions ago. So that's another concern, is the velocity at which we have seen stocks fall. You mentioned the president's address last night. If you were watching the futures market, which is indicative of where stocks will open when Wall Street's opening bell sounds at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, you saw the futures tick down as the president was speaking. Investors just were not reassured by what he had to say. There was no real promise of any fiscal stimulus, which had been reported that the president was potentially looking into some tax cuts. Now, that may still come. We just didn't get it last night. Around the world, you saw markets fall. Australia sold off by more than 7%. The Japanese Nikkei tumbled by 4%. South Korea down 4%. European markets are down to the tune of about 6% today. And then when you look at individual sectors, it would make sense as we're seeing the airlines sell off precipitously, down double digits in some cases for American, for Delta, because of these new travel restrictions that the president's announced last night, as well as hotels. We're expecting to get an announcement out of the European Central Bank to help support the European economy from a monetary standpoint. That's coming later this morning, but we are in for another wild ride on Wall Street. Just a reminder, there are circuit breakers that could be deployed today if we see the S&P 500 drop 7%. If that happens, we will see stocks halted for 15 minutes, sort of allow cooler heads to prevail. So just so the viewers know, the number that we're watching for the S&P 500, if that were to be the case, 2549. Back over to you.
CNBC's Courtney Reagan, thank you very much. And Joe, this is obviously a huge part of the story, watching how the markets respond to this.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, and you really have to take care of first things first. It's just like we were talking about, the president was obsessed about the travel ban. Well, really, the travel ban's fine. But again, the killer's already inside the house. You got to take care of what's inside the house. And of course, close the door, stop others from coming in. But in this case, you have a president that is obsessed with the financial crisis. You have his top officials more obsessed with the financial crisis around him than they are the healthcare emergency that we have. And because of that, the president can throw all the money at this that he wants. The markets are going to continue collapsing until he takes care of the underlying problem. The underlying problem is not a financial problem. The underlying problem is a pandemic. And he needs to show the markets, the Americans, and the rest of the world that he understands that, and he's got a plan to aggressively attack that pandemic. Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.